From devastating East Coast floods and high-stakes diplomacy in the Middle East to a jaw-dropping survival story in the mountains of Washington. And yes, the NFL just gave us something to look forward to this Thanksgiving. And here's today's trivia question. Where were dinosaur fossils first discovered in the U.S.? I just read a book about dinosaurs to my son, and I feel like there was something in there about that. And now I forget. We'll both learn about dinosaurs at the end of the show. It's Thursday, May 15th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Good morning, I'm your weekday host, Ayla Brown. Whether you're sipping your first coffee or stuck in traffic, pretending like everything's fine, we've got you covered. This is the Flyover, where we cruise through the top stories of the day so you don't have to dig for them. Let's take off with today's biggest headlines. First up, devastating flooding has hit the East Coast this week, turning roads into rivers and prompting emergency rescues. Tragically, a 12-year-old boy in Virginia was swept away by rising waters. His body was found Wednesday morning. This all stems from an atmospheric river that dumped up to a foot of rain across the southeast and mid-Atlantic. In Maryland, one school had to evacuate 200 students and staff by boat after water reached the second floor. Flash flood emergencies were declared from North Carolina all the way up to Pennsylvania, and more storms are in the forecast through Thursday. In international news, President Trump sat down with Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa on Wednesday to discuss a potential deal, full sanctions relief in exchange for Syria joining the Abraham Accords and normalizing relations with Israel. Trump's list of conditions also includes cracking down on terrorists, deporting Palestinian militants, and taking over ISIS detention facilities. Turkey's President Erdogan joined in by phone while Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman called the proposal, quote, courageous. Syria's president didn't commit fully but expressed openness to U.S. investment in counterterrorism collaboration. And finally, an incredible survival story out of Washington state. A man named Anton Selleck is recovering after falling 400 feet during a mountain descent in North Cascades National Park, a fall that tragically killed his 3 climbing partners. After the accident, Anton somehow hiked through the night with head trauma and internal bleeding, reached his car, and drove 60 miles just to find a payphone. Officials say the group's rope anchor failed, likely due to aging climbing gear, and they were racing to beat an upcoming storm. Our thoughts are with them and their families. Let's get into today's top political headlines. A federal grand jury has indicted Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan. She's accused of helping an illegal immigrant avoid arrest by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. The indictment marks a rare instance of a sitting judge facing federal charges related to immigration enforcement. A new poll from the Associated Press and NORC shows that only 1/3 of Democrats say they feel optimistic about the future of their party. That's down significantly from 60% last summer. In contrast, 55% of Republicans say they're feeling optimistic about their party's direction. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has removed several senior officials at the National Intelligence Council. In a statement, she said the decision was due to classified leaks that she believes were intended to undermine the Trump administration. The move is drawing attention both inside and outside the intelligence community, with debate over the timing and the reasons behind the firings. And in California, Governor Gavin Newsom is proposing significant cuts to healthcare benefits for illegal immigrants. The move would mark a shift from previous state policies and comes as speculation grows over whether Newsom is preparing for a possible presidential campaign. We are brought to you by Picasso. Picasso isn't just another real estate company. They're going after a $1.3 trillion industry, vacation homes, and flipping it on its head. Instead of second homes sitting empty most of the year, Picasso turns them into co-owned assets, fully managed and shared by real owners. And the result? Over 2,000 homeowners served $110 million in gross profits. And what's awesome is a digital platform that handles everything from scheduling to financing. This isn't hypothetical, you guys. It's happening now in 40-plus markets from the U.S. to Paris, Cabo, and London. And here's your window. Picasso's letting individual investors in right now at just $2.80 per share. But that price changes on May 29th. If you're looking to invest in a fast-scaling company led by a founder with a proven track record, this is it. Go to Picasso.com/theflyover to invest now. Again, that's PACASO.com/theflyover, or click on the link in the description below. From McDonald's massive hiring spree to a major league farewell, and why our brains might be giving attractive people a little too much credit. We've got a mix of business, baseball, and brain science coming your way. But first, finance and a stock market update. Now for a quick look at what's happening in business and finance. Shares of Globe Online dropped 19% on Wednesday after the company warned of a potential revenue slowdown in the coming quarters. It was one of the biggest single-day drops for the stock this year and comes as investors watch the tech sector closely for signs of cooling demand. McDonald's has announced plans to hire 375,000 workers across the U.S. this summer. The fast food chain says the move is part of an effort to improve service during high-traffic times and to help support its goal of opening 900 new restaurants nationwide by 2027. Walgreens will be closing 54 stores across 17 states in the coming weeks. It's part of a larger plan to close roughly 1,200 locations as the company looks to restructure in response to falling scales in the U.S. A full list of the affected stores is expected soon. And finally, Warner Brothers Discovery is bringing back a familiar name, HBO Max. The company says it will rebrand its streaming service later this summer, reversing its 2023 decision to drop the HBO from the platform's name. The move comes amid ongoing efforts to strengthen brand recognition and compete in a crowded streaming market. Here's what moved on the stock market yesterday. The Nasdaq led the way, climbing over 0.70%. The S&P 500 also ticked up slightly, up 0.10%. Meanwhile, the Dow slipped a bit, down 0.21%. Over in crypto, Bitcoin dropped 0.80% to around 103,000, still holding above that six-figure mark. And gold dropped nearly 2%, now sitting at $3,184 an ounce. Here's what's making headlines in the world of sports. Portland Trail Blazers owner Paul Allen has announced plans to sell the team. Allen purchased the franchise 37 years ago for $80 million. Today, it's valued at roughly $3.5 billion. No word yet on who the potential buyers might be, but it marks the end of an era in Portland. The NFL has officially released its full 2025 season schedule. One of the most anticipated matchups, a Thanksgiving Day game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys. Fans are already circling that one on the calendar. The 2025 PGA Championship gets underway today at the Quail Hollow Club in North Carolina, weather permitting. All eyes are on the leaderboard as players tee off for one of golf's biggest tournaments of the year. And former MLB All-Star Matt Carpenter is hanging up his cleats. The 39-year-old announced his retirement after 14 seasons in Major League Baseball, most of them with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was a three-time All-Star and well-known for his versatility on the field. Congratulations to you. And finally, let's go airborne, literally, because science and tech is getting kind of weird. A company in Austria called Silotech just completed a successful flight test of their new personal electric aircraft, the Blackbird. This futuristic-looking thing, I can't even describe how it looks, is designed for short-distance commutes in cities. It lifts straight off the ground, flies using high-tech rotating blades called cyclorotors, and is aiming to become a clean, quiet alternative to traditional helicopters or even Ubers stuck in traffic. No word yet on when it'll hit the market, but let's just say the Jetsons are looking more real every single day. There's a fascinating new study that looked at over 800 young adults across different cultures who said they were, quote, in love. Researchers found that, get this, men tend to fall in love more quickly than women and say, I love you first, more often, on average about a month sooner. But women, they report feeling more intensely in love, more emotionally committed, more obsessed, of course, in the healthiest way possible, and more future-focused. So the next time someone says men fall fast, women fall deep, you can hit them with that science. And let's end with a little psychology and maybe a gut check. Have you ever thought someone was smarter or nicer because they were just really good looking? Well, science says you're not alone. It's called the halo effect, a well-documented psychological bias that causes us to attribute positive traits like intelligence, honesty, and kindness to people who are physically attractive. Researchers say it's hardwired in our brains, and it can shape everything from hiring decisions to dating choices, even when there's no real basis for it. So, yes, beauty might be skin deep, but the bias, that runs pretty deep too. It's time for the Rotator, our spotlight section that changes each day of the week. If you're feeling nostalgic, today's Throwback Thursday section is on full retro rewind. We're talking everything from pastel tuxes and teased up prom hair and vintage photos straight out of the 80s to bizarre but beloved sandwich recipes from the 1950s. Yes, including the mysterious frosted sandwich loaf. There's even a peek inside grocery stores of the 1970s when handwritten price tags, glass soda bottles, and good old-fashioned charm ruled the aisles. If you're into fashion flashbacks, forgotten foods, or just want a reminder of how simple the times were back then, you'll want to check out the full collection in today's email edition of The Flyover. Sign up for free right now at jointheflyover.com. Right around the corner, would you get a tattoo of a soda company's logo? Plus, we're going to go over the results from yesterday's poll question on whether or not you agree with the MLB's decision to reinstate Pete Rose, and the trivia question about dinosaurs. Don't go anywhere. Here are a couple lighter stories from the world of branding and business. Mountain Dew is running a new sweepstakes. This is something I've never heard of before, and it's only for the most committed fans. If you already have a tattoo of one of the brand's retired logos, you could win an all-expenses-paid trip to Las Vegas. Yep, permanent ink might finally pay off for you. Would you ever do this? Leave your comment if you're listening on YouTube or any podcast app. Meanwhile, Barilla, the pasta company, it's stepping into the future of food with a new line called Artesia. Did I say that well? Artesia, a high-end 3D printed pasta brand. The idea is to take traditional pasta and turn it into edible sculptures. It's part design experiment, part culinary innovation, and very much aimed at the fine dining crowd. So, I'm going to ask it again. Would you ever get a Mountain Dew tattoo or 3D printed pasta? That would be an absolute no for me, but I can't wait to read your comments. It's time for the polls. Yesterday's results. Do you agree with baseball's decision to reinstate Pete Rose? 65% of you said yes. 23% said, I don't care. 12% of you said no. As for me, I actually voted no. I know that might be the unpopular opinion, but hear me out. When you know the rules and break them anyway, especially in something as sacred to fans as baseball, I don't think you should be rewarded for that. Actions have consequences, even if you're a legend. But here's the poll for the question today. Did you walk to school? There are 3 different ways you can answer. Either yes, no, or sometimes. You see, I didn't live close enough to a school to walk to it, but I also live in New England. So, in my opinion, it is cold about half of the year. And I've always hated the cold, even since I was a young kid. So, it was either the bus or the car for me. Make your vote count by heading over to jointheflyover.com, and I'll read the answers in tomorrow's Friday show. All right, to all of you dinosaur experts out there, it's trivia time. So where were the dinosaur fossils first discovered in the United States? Well, picture this. It's 1854. You're on an expedition along the upper Missouri River in Montana, probably swatting bugs and hoping you packed enough jerky. And then boom, you stumble on what turns out to be dinosaur teeth. That's exactly what happened to Ferdinand Van Divier Hayden, who gets credit for the first dino discovery in America. That's going to be it for today's Flyover Podcast. Thank you for listening, commenting, sharing, all of the above. Don't forget to share with a friend or a coworker or a family member who likes no-nonsense news. I will be back tomorrow. It is Friday tomorrow. Can you believe it? Thanks for flying with us.